Carolina Panthers at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 13.5 against the Panthers.
There's a lot of points.
Winless Panthers. Miami looking like a Super Bowl contender. They're 4-1, have the one loss against the Bills. Lighten up the scoreboard. Vegas expects that to continue.
Vegas expects it to continue.
The Dolphins have also had, they just beat up on the Giants offensive line, so they're 6th in pass blocking grade because that's what happens when you play the Giants. But again, the Panthers' offensive line has been in a similar world where they're just elevating opposing pass rushes. And it's not the Dolphins have talent. Like I like the Dolphins' defensive front talent more than, say, Seattle, who we talked about earlier. The Dolphins can win up front. They're a little banged up with guys like Jalen Phillips and everything, but they still have enough pieces to cause even more havoc for Bryce Young.
Yeah. Bryce Young is – the story about him is similar to Justin Fields in Chicago. It's like nothing's good. It's all bad. Nothing is working. With Bryce Young in Carolina, you've got the offensive line is bad. It's a problem. You've got the receiving core generally is a problem. Adam Thielen has shown signs of life the last few weeks, but is not what he used to be, and he's by far their best option. And you got Bryce Young, who's making the kind of silly mistakes that he didn't make in college and, may not make if he had a better situation around him, but who knows? Right now, he's part of the problem as well. And you only need to look at what Andy Dalton did when he came in to show, that's how far off the pace Bryce Young is currently. So everything is bad, and when everything is bad, it tends to have a compounding effect, and it becomes worse than it would be if each individual part was bad on its own. So I don't really see that changing against Miami. Miami's defense maybe hasn't become like the best unit in the NFL that people were billing it as with Vic Fangio coming in to coach it, but it's a solid unit, and Carolina has shown no real capacity to do anything on offense.
Yeah, I think, again, Panthers fans just have to keep reminding themselves that QBs will develop at different pace, and a lot of that development will be dependent on what you have around you. And if we were doing on-paper analysis before the season, on paper might not be a massive difference between Houston and Carolina, right? Houston did not look on paper like a great team. But their offensive line, as you mentioned, 6th best pass blocking grade. C.J. Stroud's getting these opportunities, and he's got a receiving core that's played extremely well. Carolina's really been – Adam Thielen has been savvy slot receiver right now who's lost a step and just knows how to get open still. Mm-hmm. That's what they're working with right now. Bryce Young's not elevating them necessarily, but he's had a horrible offensive line situation. The receivers haven't been great outside of Thielen. It's just not – you're just looking for incremental improvement there on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it's rough right now. Bryce Young doesn't look good. I don't know when the appropriate point to panic on Bryce Young is, but it's probably not yet. We've been through Jared Goff, right? We understand that a guy can have a pretty awful rookie year and come good. But he's being made to look even worse by the fact that, Richardson looked good before getting hurt. C.J. Stroud has looked amazing in a great situation by comparison. So, Bryce Young it's looking bad.
In addition to the investment that you had to make to get Bryce Young,
right.
Hey, there's no Marvin Harrison Jr. waiting to join the squad next year or anything like that.
Well, this is the thing. It's like now they're like, well, we're all in. We love Bryce Young. I know it looks bad, but we bought in. Now we need to go find him a number one receiver. It's like, all right, good luck with that. Where is it? Because there's no obvious one waiting just for the phone call. So I don't know quite how you're achieving that, but cool.
Meanwhile, Miami continues to just kind of look like a powerhouse here. Set the record for most yards in the NFL through 5 games.
Outside that Buffalo game, yeah.
Outside of Buffalo, right? So I think Miami. I think Miami will take care of business and win.
Which, to be fair, started like that. They just then stopped. Remember the first 5 drives or something in that game.
Yeah, Buffalo played a good
touchdowns.
They played a good half, where they were taking away first reads and just played better on the back end, rushed the passer pretty well. So Miami's pretty much played a bad one half of football this season.
Yeah,
that's about it as a team. So that's why they're favored by 13.5. Like the way they're playing. Will they cover by 2 whole touchdowns? I don't think has Carolina covered anything this year. Give me Miami.
They just got beat 42-24 by the Lions.
Yeah, Miami's a powerhouse, and they're playing like it.
Yeah. So
Miami's kind of like what we just said about the Lions, like beating up on bad teams. I'm not saying that's the only thing that Miami's doing, but when they're presented with the opportunity to win by a lot,
yeah,
they're taking it, obviously.
With authority, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if they can't hang within 20 for the Lions, I don't imagine they'll be able to do it for the Miami Dolphins either.
It's in Miami. Miami game, mid-October. Starting to lose the advantage as you get to later in the season.
When does it stop?
Right around now. Probably
right around now?
Yeah, that's a guess.
I know that is within 20, by the way.